You are tuned in to What Up Baltimore online radio. Please note that the views and opinions expressed on this channel are of the host and not of Lady J Media. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, What Up Baltimore TV. And if you really don't want to miss any of the shows, hit that notification bell and you'll get a message every time we come on. Now, we got it from here, so sit back, relax, and stay tuned.
You do. I know you do, because that's what I do. I give you that kind of love that makes you come back. I'm your pusher, baby. I'm your pusher.
Hey, little black boy, let me holler at you for a minute. I was once in your place, you should respect what I say. Some of the things I'm about to tell you just may save your life in a world where not much is right. Little black boy, you're gonna see and experience all sorts of things, but don't let your mind be locked in a chain. All right. Hello, everybody.
Hey.
Hello. Welcome to Spitfire Poetry Shutdown, guys. I'm your host, John Hansboro. Today is October 28th, 2023. I hope everyone is having a wonderful evening thus far. We have a special guest on tonight. This is a young lady who wears many different hats, very active in our community. I met her a few months back at an open mic. She does a bunch of different things. She's a part of a wonderful organization that I met. But I want to introduce you all to Miss Karen Hill, everybody. Karen Hill, how you doing, sis?
Hey, bro. How are you?
I'm good. I'm glad we're doing this again. I had you on before, but I don't know what happened. We must have had some hate or something, but the devil was busy and I wasn't even able to add a show. That really upset me. But
yeah, he's always busy, but we all know who's greater.
Yep, we got it now though. So how you been though? What's going on with you?
Man, bro, at our last conversation, things took a little change, but I'm not complaining, bro. I am still here.
That's right.
I'm still here. So, that's woo. They said you haven't lived long enough, you don't have a testimony, but I got a mountain full. But I'm here. So, I'm good. And not just grateful and blessed to still be here to talk about it.
Absolutely. So look, tell everybody who you are and about your organization really fast first.
Well, hi everybody. My name is Leah. And what everybody calls me Karen. I am a member of Victorious Living Faith Ministries in Essex. And through our wonderful church family, I am the chairperson for our free ministry. And free ministry is a singles ministry through our church. And free is an acronym for faithful, renewed, empowering each other. So that's who I am. And like our church and our ministry is just one of those it's a good ministry, and we love the fellowship. We love to do things. So the basis of our membership is not just because we're single, but being able to live in a society as a single member of society without having that negative connotation that some people tend to have about single people. And we fellowship with one another. We encourage one another. We love on one another, and we just out in the community doing good things, and building the bridge between not just being single, but churches, not just our church, but
Mhm.
churches out there where people can connect to receive resources whenever they may need resources for whatever reason,
Mhm.
and to share the love of Christ. That's who we are.
Right. I love it. When I first met you guys, me and my wife's cousin was together, and we felt definitely welcome. I felt love. You know what I mean? The conversation that you had with me and my wife was inspiring. I had just met you, and it's like you just filled us with so much. You know what I mean? When you were talking about things that you dealt with and why you were doing what you're doing. Um, and I felt a good energy around you guys. Even when I
Yes.
after that I did an event and you all came, and I appreciate the support from that. And it was just it
Feel
was
me
love.
now.
It was loving the room, definitely loving the room.
And that's
Um,
yes,
you know,
yes, that's what we are. We
mhm,
love you, man.
mhm.
And you and your wife. I mean, you guys, you inspired me.
Thank you. We try.
You
I
know what I
I
mean?
then I was able to have some of the people from your organization on the show. Miss Cedar Gray was one, and that it was just I love
Oh,
poetry, for one, when I'm meeting you all and hearing her and Richard and a couple other people, I was just like I was hooked in. Like I love poetry and I love how it brings people together. You know what I mean? I'm starting to notice not only that, but it truly is a ministry for myself and some of the people that I surround myself with. And when it comes to poetry, there is a community and there's always love in it. You know what I mean?
absolutely.
What made you start? Hey, Miss Speaks. What made you start the? What made you all start this organization though?
Well, my story is, I talked to you um and your wife before. My story came from pain. um
Mhm,
the pain of being in a marriage for over 15 years, and how it came to an end all of a sudden, um based on a series of untruths.
mhm,
I'm gonna put it that way.
mhm,
um and the devastation, when you think you know someone and you no longer know who that person is.
mhm,
And so that's how it started for me.
mhm,
And for me, I'm that person, and I have that heart to love. And sometimes it can be a blessing, and a lot of times, well, it can be a curse. It's
mhm,
difficult because when you're an individual such as you and your wife and other, even Miss Speaks is just on watching, when you have that heart to
mhm.
love, a lot of times that love that we have for others is not reciprocated.
Right.
And sometimes we find ourselves in a place where we're hurt. And when I went through what I went through with my marriage, I was beyond devastated.
Mhm,
Um, but life goes on,
mhm,
and you have to learn and find a way in which you heal. So, I did a lot of soul searching, I did a lot of meditation, and it came to me. I was just like, I was ready to go all out. Hey, now I'm free.
mhm,
And what am I going to do? What I mean, what is life like being free, being single? And some things came to me, so I got pen and paper, and I was
mhm,
writing these things down, and I went to the word, and I found myself, and then that's how free came about, because it's not about just you know being single, but being a single person in society, being able to live life in all of its abundance as God had intended us to live,
mhm,
but in a positive way.
mhm,
So with our ministry, we're not a dating ministry. We're not looking for dates. We don't solicit dates. That's not who we are. but who we are individuals who have a place in society and are able to live our lives abundantly as individuals. Because if you don't learn yourself as an individual, you what are you going to be as a couple?
Right.
What are you going to bring to the table as an individual?
Mm-hmm.
So you need to learn who you are, you understand,
Mm-hmm.
and know your identity and who you are, what you want, who you're going to be, and how you're going to be productive, and how when you become a couple, how what you're going to bring to the table, because it has to be a development within yourself, and
Mm-hmm.
then as yourself, you develop as a couple. So we are learning a lot of things, and we get out there, and we have that love, and we just go out, we meet other people in ministries, and we just have this open dialogue about certain things. And what we don't want is people to feel like we're a hindrance or we're coming after something that you have. No, that's not what it's about.
Mm-hmm.
It's not what it's about. So, and we're about love, and we can talk about things, and and it doesn't have to be just because it's something because you're single or relationship issues. We talk about every day, every life issues and what's going on, and what I'm saying, whether it's hardships, whether it's employment, or what we can do to help, because that's another thing about us. We give back.
Mm-hmm.
We give
One.
back. And part of us giving back is this event that's coming up on Saturday.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. October 28th. That's right. So talk to us about that. Really, I was about to lead into that, but talk to us about that too, though. The Holy Smoke event.
Holy Smoke, guys. This is our first annual Holy Smoke Community Barbecue and Contest. um the basis, and this was something that has been on my heart for so many years, and I tried it. The first time I tried it just didn't come out, so I was like, well, maybe it's not time.
Mm-hmm.
But the mission and the vision that we have for this event is basically families first. you know who doesn't get along at a barbecue? So
Mm-hmm.
this is just not like a barbecue, a family. It's a community-wide barbecue where we're going to get out, we're going to meet people, we're going to bring them in, we're going to have hamburgers, hot dogs, and it's about building community relationships. It's a lot of negative things going on in
Yes.
society today.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We have, you got your wars going on globally, but we have wars right here in our own community. We
Mm-hmm.
got young people out here doing just crazy things, and things and times has changed. Well, we trying to gear focus away from the negativity and bring in positivity. We have invited multiple churches within the area and surrounding areas to come out, so that the community can know that there are resources out there um, that might not be readily available. So, and if they decide that you're looking for a church home, of course, we're going to be out there. We the VLF Nation, Victorious Living Faith, but you don't have to choose our church. There's a
Mm-hmm.
lot of other churches out there. And even if you still, not looking for a church home, but just to know if you need something, you know, one of these churches, somebody out here can help, with
Mm-hmm.
no judgment.
Right. Right.
You know what I'm
That's
saying?
that's one of the things these days that I notice. Um, a lot of not a lot, but some churches are trying to go towards the non-traditional stuff to try to get people to come, to get
Yeah.
them in, I it is so much going on, and I'm gonna be honest. I found myself just a few days ago. I felt a little bit of some depression because of what I see with these
Okay.
kids. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? I got to be honest. I just with having kids of your own, you're afraid to have them do certain things. Like me and my wife make sure that we know who their friends are. I want to know who their friends' parents are, the ones that
Yes.
they're really close with. You know what I mean? Um,
Absolutely.
and it's just these kids. It's a lot. You know what I mean? Because I feel like a lot of it is really not the children's fault. Some of them are just lost. They're not being guided
Mhm.
right. You know, it's
And
sad to
peer
say, but it's the
pressure.
truth. It's the
Peer
truth.
pressure is, I mean, is real. We want to be right there with our children, but our children, when they go off to school, we can't be with them every second, every minute of the day.
Mhm.
And so those influences that are outside of the home can be great,
Mhm.
can be great. And then there's a lot of other underlying issues, especially if there's a dysfunctional home. And
Right.
then the children are going to look for comfort somewhere else.
Right.
It's a lot of things that's in place. And then if you have a family that is struggling and then they get out of here and they have these other influence like, hey, I give you this money to go carjack somebody.
Right.
What I mean? And they're children. So their minds are not always as strong as you. We know how to make the right decisions because we know right from wrong.
Mhm.
But you're talking about children.
Mhm.
So, they can be easily swayed. But, with the community and stuff, when I was growing up, we had plenty to do outside
Absolutely.
of the home.
Absolutely.
Plenty to
Absolutely.
do. But,
Right.
resources are drying up. What happened to the PAL centers? Do they even
Right.
exist anymore?
Right. And I used that. Look, in the neighborhood I grew up in, we had one in our rec center for maybe, I don't know, a few years, and then they closed everything down. You know what
Wow.
I mean? And I think that's what's a lot that's missing too in the community. They just had nothing constructive or positive to do. They are things, but it's not enough.
It's not
To me,
enough.
it's just not enough. It need, like you say, it needs to be more reach. That's why I like organizations like you all and what you do, because y'all are about that. Y'all want to make a change. It's evident.
Yes.
I can see it that that's what you want to do. Um, Now, I met you through my sister, Arthur Poetess Shakespeare, who
Yes. It's a
who
powerful woman.
oh my goodness, that's my little stick of dynamite right there. I love
That
that.
she is.
You know what I mean? She is a real major part of what helped me to really dive into my poetic things that I had going on.
Okay.
Um, um, so with poetry, I say it all the time, is my therapy. That's how I get through a lot. You
Mhm.
know what I mean?
Mhm.
Um, and when I met you all through her, I think she had mentioned a church to me before, because I heard her come to a church I was at years ago when I first met her, and she
Yeah.
did some poetry there. That was
Yeah.
my first open mic. It was at a church, and
Yeah.
she came there and just tore it down.
Yeah.
What do you have a love for writing and for poetry as well?
I do. And, I talked to her about this. And, like, for me, especially the situations and the circumstances that I've been going through the last several years, and for some reason, John, I cannot put the pen to paper. It's just
Mhm,
like I have this block,
mhm.
and I don't know what it is.
I think she froze for a second. I'm sure she'll be back in a few. But yeah, I get going back to what she was just saying, I get blocked a lot myself. I luckily was able to not I luckily was able to find my pen not too long ago. You know what I mean? I think I was dealing with some stuff and had me so constructed and so like caught up in what I was doing. I wasn't able to write anything, and that's something that is not good for me, because I got to be able to express. I got to be able to put it down on paper. And I like to create. I find when I'm not creating, something is going wrong there too. If I'm not creating nothing, I'm not gonna say I'm not happy, but I don't feel as though I'm fulfilling something. Something is missing if I'm not being creative. You know what I mean? Um, but like I said, so October 28th, so she'll be back. I want to get the address. Sis, what's the address? That's all good. What's the address of where we're going to be at Saturday?
Okay, so the church's address is 435 Maryland Avenue. We're
Okay.
going to be on the parking lot, and that's 466 Maryland Avenue.
Okay.
And that's in Essex. And I'm
Essex.
sorry about that. We lost power. Oh, my goodness.
It's all good. So tell us about some of the things that's going to be happening at this event because I've been I follow you. So I've
I,
been looking at a lot of the promotions and commercials that you've been doing about it. And I love it. Your Godfather is hilarious too, by the
oh,
way.
my goodness. Oh, my goodness. Godfather, yeah. So we are having, it's going to be a barbecue contest. That's number one. So
Okay.
at 8 o'clock in the morning, this is just for the competitors. We're having an open flame ceremony, and then we're gonna flick those lighters, and they're gonna get those grills and stuff fired up, and then they're gonna go ahead and start cooking. So it opens to the community at 12 o'clock, and at
Okay.
12:30, there's gonna be the judging, and you see the panel judges that I posted on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
And throughout the day, we're just going to have plenty of activities. We're also going to have a spades tournament.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to have a Christian trunk or treat for the babies because we love the babies.
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to take place. And as well, there's going to be a Hot Ones chicken wing eating contest.
I saw that. Yeah, I saw
And
that
so
too.
I heard that no one gets past sauce number 6.
Uh-huh.
So that's really going to be interesting. And we having the first lady baked bean contest.
Mm-hmm.
We got a great lineup of vendors. So we're really going to have fun. And we're serving hamburgers and hot dogs until supplies run out. So long as you out there, you get a hamburger, hot dog. The vendors, there are some vendors that's going to have, like we have Chef Trey. She's going to be doing Caribbean dishes, and she has this amazing stuffed pineapple.
Oh my goodness.
And I'm gonna tell you, and when it comes to the stuffed pineapples,
Mm-hmm.
she did it first.
Uh-huh.
She did it first. So she's gonna be out there. We're gonna have some cupcakes. We're gonna have a cake vendor. We're gonna have fashion. You have to see those pictures? I'm gonna have nights and all kinds of stuff, designer stuff, and I have to post some more pictures as well, and bracelets. It's just gonna be we just gonna have a good time on Saturday, and we want people to come out. We're gonna have fun, and that's what it's about. And who doesn't have fun at a barbecue?
Right. Absolutely.
You know what I
Absolutely.
mean? And who doesn't like to eat?
Right.
You know what I mean? And we also have some vegan options, so we can't forget
Okay.
about them. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying?
Mm-hmm.
So we all going to have that, and and if people want to come out with a grill and just set it up and do what they do, that's what you're going to do. We got space for that too.
Absolutely. Now, I'm gonna do just a slight shift a little bit because
Okay.
both of our stories are something that I believe can definitely help people and inspire people.
Absolutely.
One of the things that I found when I was dealing with some of my issues was poetry. Like I said, that fell in my lap. That was something that, and not just poetry, writing too.
Mhm.
Because I wrote a book about what me and my wife went through, but
Okay.
poetry, it seems like it just does something to uplift me. It brightens me up. You know what I mean? Even now,
Mhm.
just every time I do a live podcast on Wednesday, because some Wednesdays I may be doing something and ask Lady Day to just do a rerun of a prior show. But
Okay.
for some reason, say during the day I may be feeling a certain way. If it's Wednesday around 6 o'clock, 6:30, I know I'm getting ready to do I feel a certain way. I may feel a little bit nervous, but then
Yes.
I'm on, it's like I notice my whole attitude and everything just changes.
It just changes.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Poetry is something that I found that I'm really, really comfortable with and
Okay.
comfortable in doing as well.
Right.
What was it that got you through? And for me also, I know for you as well,
Ooh.
my spirituality helped me a lot. Now
Yeah.
I didn't grow up in a church at my house or nothing like that.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
but my mother was a praying mom and all of that. But
Right.
I never grew up in anything like that. I
Mhm.
found it when I was at my weakest point as a grown man, I will say. Right.
Okay.
I was at a point where I didn't know how I got there or how to get out of it. So
Mhm.
with my spirituality and poetry, they both it just helped me to get to that next, get through that
To
door.
get you absolutely. And for me, and it's my faith and the personal relationship that I have with God,
Mm-hmm.
because I talk to him just like I'm talking to you, you
Mm-hmm.
know and to anybody else, but in my own privacy, and that's my intimacy is with God, because I'm like, what are you doing, God? What is this? you know um why is this? Why is this? And I scream and I shout. Oh my gosh, these last few years, I haven't as many tears as I did in my entire life.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not even just talking about the marriage, because one thing about me, I'm satisfied for what I've done because I did
Mm-hmm.
everything I was supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, but again, dealing with the grief, the loss of my brother, and that grief comes in waves,
Mm-hmm.
and it's hard. So I found myself, on my knees, like, Lord, you just got to help me.
Mm-hmm.
And for one thing, and even with my health, because I told you what happened to me a few weeks ago, um, what I had, talking, like, hey, what's going on, how I'm gonna get through this. I had my father passed, and we had talked some years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was coming to him, like, where I'm going through this, and he said, "Why not you?"
Mm-hmm.
And I,
Mm-hmm.
what do you mean? Why not me? But he was like, you bear witness of God's greatness.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, in short, a woman who, well, I lost my mother in 1988 from breast cancer.
Mm-hmm.
1994, I was diagnosed with breast cancer, and I
Mm-hmm.
survived. In 1992, I had my first craniotomy, which is brain surgery for a condition that I was born with. I
Mm-hmm.
had my second brain surgery in 2003. But however, in 2000, that's when I had my first heart attack.
Mm-hmm.
See where I'm going?
Mm-hmm.
Last year, October the 29th, August the 29th, I had my second
Mm-hmm.
heart attack. And then 20 days ago, I had the third one. And I clear for goodness, that's going to be my last one.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm
Absolutely.
saying?
Yes.
So you can't tell me that God is not great. And I
Right.
always tell people that He is miraculous in my life.
Mm-hmm.
But with that being said, there is something, I have an assignment that I have to do.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Okay?
Right.
I have to have, there's an assignment that has to be completed,
Right.
because He still allowed me to be here.
Right.
You
Right.
know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm still here.
Mm-hmm.
So my testimony is testimony that will bring others to Him.
Mm-hmm. Say,
You know
I
what
feel
I'm
this.
saying?
Yes, and I feel the same way, and it's crazy how we go through certain things, and in the beginning or while we're dealing with it, you don't think about it until you're coming through it or coming out of it. Because myself, 20 back in 2013, and I always say, and back in 2013, I think I used to be like, I should have been dead, I think it was, but
Mhm. That
that's not
wasn't
the
the
way to
plan.
work. Right. And that's not even the way I should be wording it, but that definitely wasn't the plan. But I didn't see it then though,
Right.
occurring at all. Right.
Right.
And I was working, I was 60 hours a week. I was caught up in my family, making sure the mortgage is paid, the car notes, all that. I got children. When I shifted and everything changed for me, and I had to go and get assistance, financial assistance from my family at one
Mhm.
time, when I had
Mhm.
no idea how to do it. All of that paperwork and all of that shit, like that alone would drive you
Mhm.
crazy
Yeah.
trying to figure all that out. And then going down to the social service, like that was a nightmare, right?
Yeah.
So in the beginning, you don't think about it, but it was all a series of tests, definitely, that he was doing for me to witness to other people. Like
Right.
I didn't want to believe it. I didn't want to understand it. I'm not going to lie. At some points,
Doesn't
um,
always feel good.
no, not at all. And in the
Mm.
beginning, sis, I had no idea. Like I found myself in a church, and I was at one point when I would get full of what the Holy Ghost or a feeling of something, and I was in a church, I would start to bang on the wall at the church that I
Mm.
was at the time. Shout out
Okay.
to Bishop Michael Wallace. Shout
Okay.
out to him. This man, listen, I used to bang on the wall, and one day I'm hitting the wall, the music's going, we singing, and my wife, when she sings, I can't that
Woo.
like I go to tears all the time,
Yes,
seriously,
sir.
every time. So I'm hitting the wall, and the lady that was in front of me, I noticed she should start looking at me crazy. And when I looked, my hand was through the wall,
Wow.
right?
Mhm.
So I say that to say I used to be like, if somebody would have told me 5 to 10 years before that, John, when you're going to go through something and you're going to be at a church, you're going to be a deacon at a church,
Mm.
right? And then you're going to have these episodes or whatever, and you're going to start hitting a wall in the church. I'd be like, you must be out of, you're crazy. I'm not. But the way things happen and the way things work out is really um part of it is scary sometimes. I
Uh-huh.
will admit, right? Because
Yes.
I did a poem at this same church. I did a poem. This was the first time I was doing poetry was at a church. Like this
Okay.
man, this man let me after the service was over, he would let me go up sometimes and do a poem at the end of the service. One day I did a poem. I did all that shouting isn't necessary, and the reaction that I got didn't. It really scared me because I
Wow.
was thinking to myself, I was sharing something that was real, that was from my heart, but at the same time, the reaction that I got from the people there, it scared me into thinking, "Wow, you actually have a purpose that you have to do."
Yes.
Right? I
That's
never
it.
forget. I just sat back afterward. No, when I went to sit down,
Uh-huh.
we all got excited. Everybody was dancing and stuff, and I'm sitting there watching it, and I was afraid. I ain't gonna lie, it scared me. It scared
Mhm.
me. Everybody was going in and just in there. A lot of people was in the spirit,
And
and
that's you said it because that's
that's
where I was going to go. Absolutely.
right. And for days
Absolutely.
after, I thought about it and thought about it and thought about it. And I used to be like, you know what? I have to write it. I have to say it if I feel
Okay.
it. I
Right.
have to say it if I feel it. That was a
Mhm.
time where I wouldn't say certain things because I didn't want I didn't want a negative stench on the church that I was at because I'm on social media and I'm sharing things, but I may say some words that everybody's not going to agree with.
I understand.
But
Yeah.
but I do understand too. Sometimes you have to say there's we're reaching a whole bunch of different people and we can't reach them
Expressive.
all the same
Mhm.
way.
That's right.
You
That's
got to
right.
switch it
And
up.
we're
So,
nobody and none of us are here to judge. You know what I mean? It's not like you're just being malice and you using those words, but you have to be expressive so that it reaches everyone. And
mhm,
it's some people that's all they understand.
mhm,
But we're bringing people in and you got to do it the best way that you can.
right.
You
Right.
know what I'm saying?
Right.
And then just, the one thing that bothers me is, the judgment from some people.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yo, come on now. You
Right.
know what I mean? And sad to say, your church folk.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? But you I just look past it.
Yeah.
I have to.
Right.
And that's one thing. Like, I came up in church, but I came up in a different church. I came up in the Catholic church.
Okay.
Because that's what my daddy said, that I had to told my mom that's what I had to come up. But as I've gotten older and then I had and moved away from my hometown, I had to find my own way
Mm-hmm.
into to where I am now. But my focus, my relationship is between me and him.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So your views is just that they're yours.
Right.
My salvation is mine, my deliverance is mine, and the relationship is between he and I. I can do some things better. None of us do it right, because we wouldn't, none of us would be here if we did it
Right.
right. You know what I'm saying? What I'm saying?
Right. Right.
So the responsibility is for us to do what we're supposed to do, and then to help other people. That's our responsibility as a Christian.
Mm-hmm.
My opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's our responsibilities, and you did exactly what you were supposed to do, and that may be the direction for you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still trying to figure out what my purpose is with my story. you know I said I was going to write that book. We talked about that.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm thinking that, because I can't, John, for some reason I cannot put my thoughts on a piece of paper,
Mm-hmm.
but I can talk about it though.
Right. Right. Right.
I can talk about
Right.
it.
Right.
I can
See,
talk about
that
it.
may be the way too, panel discussions or stuff like that
Mm-hmm.
for people, you know what I mean? That's why and with this platform that I'm doing, sis, I've been thinking since the end of last year of how I want to do some different things or switch it up a little bit. I didn't after a while, I didn't want it to be just about poetry. I wanted to be able to talk about other stuff as well too. I still relate it to what I love in poetry or whatever, but
Mm-hmm.
it's so much that should be talked about, and there's so many platforms out here
Yeah.
to use to do it. Um, I feel like some stuff we just have to do, especially in our community. It bothers me that our some of our community is in the shape that it's in. It really does. I cannot
Yeah.
understand it. Um, I
It's
don't,
different.
it is. It's very different. Of course, things are never always be the same, but I
Right.
mean, you know, I
Mm-hmm.
remember growing up when I was a kid and my aunts and other family members going to different houses, the doors were unlocked. It wasn't even locked.
Right.
You know what I mean? Sometimes it would just
Mm-hmm.
be unlocked, and the neighbors was different. Everybody
Right.
looked out for each other. And you know,
Exactly.
you couldn't walk past Miss Johnson's house and say a curse word, or you know what I'm
Right.
saying? Certain
And you
stuff
couldn't
like that.
walk past Miss Johnson's house at 3:15 when you supposed to walk past at 3 o'clock, because they already on the phone with your parents like, hey,
Yep.
your
Yeah.
child came home late from school today.
Yeah. Yeah. That's another thing. I couldn't go nowhere in my neighborhood. My parents knew everybody. My
They knew
father was a football
everybody.
coach. My mother was a daycare provider. So
Hmm.
I couldn't,
Yeah,
it was nothing that me and my brother could go and do. Everybody knew Miss Vicky or my pops were coaches. So,
that's right. But you know what,
and
too? Policing was different back then.
yeah, yeah, it was. It
Uh,
was. They were
They
friend.
knew
Well,
us. Hmm.
I'm gonna
They
say they were friendly. I can't say that they not now. I do know a couple police officers that are good. I know are good guys. I went to school with these gentlemen, so
Yeah.
I know, you know what I mean. But
Hmm.
back then it was a lot different. It felt like it was more of a friendlier thing to me. You know,
Yes.
I
Hmm.
think what I think what could help. I don't know how they would do it, but if they were able to have the officers maybe patrolling in the neighborhoods that they live in, right?
Woo, that's a whole nother podcast. But exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, have
They
them
need to get
patrol right
out
where
of
they
those
live.
patrol cars and on foot like it was before. But it's always money, or we don't have enough, or we can't do this. But that's the way it was, and things were different.
Yeah.
I mean, because as an officer back, you had to do your 2 years before you even think about a promotion. You walk that beat.
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
walk that beat.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, things are different, but we leave it into the hands for those persons who's supposed to, have more control and authority over it. But you're right. It was different and it was better then.
Yeah,
I mean, it was better. And we need to get back.
we
We need
definitely
to
do.
get back. It
We
don't make
definitely
sense. You
do.
can't even go out of your own home without the fear of being carjacked.
You're right. And I think about that all the time. I got ring cameras, I got dogs. I don't, when I'm out
Hmm.
and my wife and daughters are together, I want them to let me, when they are together and they come in the house, let me know y'all in safe. Don't
Right.
even go out the front door without looking around for at least a couple seconds before
Yes.
you go out get in the car. When you
Hmm.
coming home, when I come down my block, I turn my high beams on, right?
Right.
When I'm driving down this my block, I'm looking in cars to see if any clowns are sitting out in the car waiting
Outside
for
watch.
you to come home. You know what I'm saying? That's the type
Hmm.
of stuff that we
We
have to
got
be
to.
alert on and do on a daily basis.
Yes.
I just text my family. We do a group text a lot on
Hmm.
both sides of my family. And
Right.
on my in-laws, I just let all of the ladies know, y'all there was women being carjacked in the gas stations. They going to get
Yes.
gas and somebody
Yes.
just run and snatch the car. You know what I mean? So
Hmm.
it's a lot. And you're right. We shouldn't be. I'm not going to live in fear. That's one thing. I'm not going to do that.
Absolutely.
I pray and I hope, sis, that I never get into any type of situation because I'm gonna
Hmm.
tell you now, little Ricky, little Bobby, if he come at me or my children, I'm
Yeah.
gonna bust his head open. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Like I'm not
It's
playing.
just
I'm
people
not.
tired,
Yes.
but you don't want to, you don't want to jeopardize it. This is the same thing. Like I said, I said to myself, I said the same thing. I said, but you know what? Go ahead and take it.
Right. Exactly.
Okay? Go ahead and take it because it's replaceable. You know, I'm not replaceable, but people are tired. And there's a
Yes.
situation that happened in Philadelphia. This young lady, she is a correctional officer. She was at the gas station. She was filling up. And I don't have the details. I don't know if she was on her way to work or on her way home from work. But the little boy came up with a handgun, like, give me this, give me that. She had one too. She emptied her clip,
Dang.
you know,
Right. So
However, he survived. So now you have to face the consequences of your healing and the fact that you tried to carjack another individual. People are tired.
yeah.
They're tired and they are fighting back. But that was one situation, but everybody is not, carrying, what I'm saying? And it's just there was another situation, and this was on social media. Someone was being carjacked and he was pumping gas. So where did the gas go? On all three of the individuals that was trying to carjack.
Mm,
But people are tired.
yeah.
People go out here, they making an honest living, and you want to come up and take something from them that they worked hard
Mm-hmm.
for. It's
Mm-hmm.
nonsense. It doesn't make any sense.
It did.
But
It
this is
does.
the times that we're living in.
Right. And I say that to be honest and real. I would want to hurt,
I know.
react at that moment, but I know that it's
Right.
not
Not worth
something
it.
that's right. Like someone tried to steal my wife's truck right out in front of my house one day, right? Over the summer, right?
Wow.
I see it later on the camera the next day because we go out there. She come in the house like somebody tried to get in the truck. Screwdriver still stuck in there. They broke it. That's why they couldn't steal it because they broke the
Wow.
screwdriver, right?
Mm-mm.
So I'm thinking to myself, I was like, you know what? If normally I'm up late, I don't really go to bed a lot. I sleep. My hours are weird.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I could be up to 3 in the morning, and I'm like, just for some reason, I don't know why I
Mm-hmm.
wasn't up that night. Coming upstairs. And before I go to my bedroom, I always look out the front door or look out the window, before I go
Mm-hmm.
upstairs. And I said to myself, if I would have saw what I saw on camera, I would have just unlocked the cages on my dogs, open the front door, and just open the door and let them go out.
Let them go.
Let them go it out. Right now, my dog's not going to attack nobody unless I feel threatened or someone else is being threatened. Right?
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, lifestyle. You got that right, Mr. Scott. But at the same time, I don't want. Say my dog would have been chewing up one of these, and then when I look at the camera, they kids too, sis. That's another thing. It's not like it's a 50, 20, 30-year-old man. They my children.
Babies.
My daughter
11,
14.
12, 13.
Yeah.
6.
You know what I mean? They that age. And I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
man, but it makes you so angry. But and what I don't want is for one of them something to happen and one of them get hurt because of people are so fed up and so tired.
It's
you know
so
what
tired.
I mean? I think that slowly but surely, the only way I feel we can make any type of a dent is to just one by one, like just try to just that each one teach one type thing. I don't know. You know what I mean? I know it because it gets frustrating and you get like, I'm tired. I don't even want to deal with these youngsters. You know what I mean? But at the same time, I feel bad for them because it's not so many of them don't want to live that type of lifestyle. There is so many of them that want something better for themselves.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And you, and you're right. You know what I mean? And we have to, come up with something like, Miss Speaks, who had chimed in earlier, her and her husband, and before COVID, you talking about a couple who loves the community and giving back in the children, and they had all kinds of resources, but they brought the children in and they're teaching them entrepreneurship.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And you talking about a success rate, and now Mr. Speaks, I mean, he's working with a group of young boys and, bringing them up, teaching them, things and interrogate, and Lord have mercy, I can't even talk tonight, but, teaching them to be grown up to be young men and be
exactly.
going out there and getting jobs and the things that they do. You know what I'm saying? But you talking about, one or two individuals, on one side of the city, and the one thing, and they teaching them the things that are not taught in school.
Right. Another thing that bothers me with our community is its financial literacy. That needs to be very important. It's very something that's on the forefront of us because there is no other nationality of people that spend more money than we do.
Yeah. And they tell you how they are marketing our people down to the alcohol.
Yep.
Making it look pretty.
Yeah.
Oh, you can buy that. And the same thing with certain brands. One thing I don't do the designer.
Mm-hmm.
Whoever it is, be it Coach, Gucci, whatever, because they're not doing anything for us. And this is another thing I had learned from Sonya and Damien Speaks. What's designer for me is our brands. Okay? Our brands, the ones that we put out there. You know what I mean? They don't have all those names like Food, Boo, Coochie, whatever. You know what I'm saying? It's our brand. It's the local brands. That's designer for me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because I don't mind taking my money and pouring it into you. You know what I'm saying? Because we're pouring into you, then we're pouring it into our communities.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I have not, and the last thing that I had or whatever, it might have, I don't even know the name of the stuff anywhere, but it had the shoes and all that kind of stuff. And the money that I spent on that, and then when you do your research and you learn about these different individuals and these designers and how they really feel about us, you know what? You're right. You only have to tell me once. So my money's going into the community, and you can't tell me that I ain't fly with our stuff.
It's about your feeling anyway. It ain't about what you wear. It's about you.
You know what I'm saying? But we have a lot of work to do to build up and rebuild our communities, man, and to put that self-respect back into the community and these young individuals, you know what I mean? Because they're not loving themselves.
Yeah.
So if you love yourselves, you couldn't go out here and do the things that you're doing.
Right.
To a certain degree.
Right. it's a mindset too. I believe. I feel like I know when I was in my 20s, I used to buy all of that type of stuff, but I
Mm-hmm.
was influenced by Russell Simmons.
Up.
Me and my brother both. Are you good? I got dogs too. Me and my brother both were influenced by him, and I for a while back then, me and my brother only bought black. We tried our best to buy nothing
Mm-hmm.
but black owned clothes back then. And Sean John had stuff, Rockaway, Russell
Mm-hmm.
Simmons, Fat Farm, that's
Mm-hmm.
all I was wearing. And then
Right.
one day, this was in 2013 when I found out about my illness. I have cardiac sarcoidosis, so I have a defibrillator on the left side of my chest. It's about the size of a matchbook. Right? I was in a Walmart just getting food, and one of the doctors that worked on me was in Walmart. He was shopping for clothes though.
Uh-huh.
And that to me, that just I don't know. When I walked up on him, he was in the clothing, just going
Wow.
through stuff. And this guy is a surgeon. And I
Mm.
and I don't know. I just when I left, I thought about. I'm like, damn, like I put myself in his shoes. I said to myself, if I was making type of money he's making, I was, really, would I be
Right.
at Walmart buying clothes? I probably wouldn't. But why? Why
Mm.
not? You know what I mean?
Mm.
And that
Mm-hmm.
made me think. Ever since then, I was just like, it really made me think about stuff because we
Yeah.
spend so much on so many of the
We
wrong
wasteful.
things.
We're
And
wasteful.
yeah, and we spend it because we want to be looked at a certain way, or we want
Mm-hmm.
to be looked at as being on a certain status of living. You know what I mean? Um,
Mm-hmm. That's
and
all
then
it is a status, and nobody even cares.
no, no, you
You
go to
know.
the bank, that bank account's got negative this, negative that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I
But
mean?
you want to
But
look good for
they want to look
society.
good. They want to look good. And I believe that really does hinder our culture. So I try to just, like you say, at the end of the day, I just try to spread love. That's all I can do. I try to spread love, and then
Yeah.
whoever's close to me that I can get to talk to them. I could be in a market or at work or whatever. If it's a young
Absolutely.
person that's I'm having good conversation with, I try to just dump as much game on them as I can. Somebody did it for me.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I
Right.
mean? Somebody did it for
Absolutely.
me. I was blessed
Absolutely.
to have a father, but back then there was guys in the neighborhood too that would pull you up and
Mm-hmm.
sprinkle something in your ear. You know what I mean?
Yep. Like, hey, young blood, come here. Let me talk to you.
Absolutely. Sis,
You
it's been
know.
a pleasure having you on here tonight. I need to
You
do more
too,
conversations like
John.
this at least once a month. Tell
Yeah.
everybody about what you got going on this weekend again and where you're going to be at.
Yeah, so come on out Saturday, October the 28th for our first annual Holy Smoke Community Barbecue and Contest. It is going to be a time to be had. It is sponsored by our church, Victorious Living Faith, and the Free for Singles Ministry. We're located at 435 Maryland Avenue, and the event is going to take place in the parking lot at 466 Maryland Avenue. We're going to have a barbecue grilling contest. We're going to have a chicken wing eating
Mm,
contest. We're
mm,
going to have the best baked bean contest. We're going to have a great lineup of vendors. So come on out. We're going to have a spades tournament. So bring your A game. Come on and sit down. Bring your partner at the table. It is $10 per person because we want to be serious that you're going to show up.
mm.
We
Games.
and we encourage all the beginners to
Oh,
stand there and
yeah.
watch. Don't sit down at that table. So
One thing
we're
you
going
do not do is sit down at a spades table in a black community if you don't know what you're doing. Because you're going to get
yeah.
cussed out for real.
Yes, yes, but we're not gonna cut you out. We're just gonna say, look, you need to get up. So we're gonna have a good time. We just want to bring the whole family thing back to life. And the idea for this holy smoke. When I lived down south, that's where I got it from because down south everything was a festival. You had a
Yeah,
watermelon festival, you had a collar festival, your mom festival, and it was about family and friends. So why not? Why we can't have that here in
yeah.
Baltimore? You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? Why can't we have a gathering to be peaceful and full of love? So
Mm-hmm.
that's what it's about, come and eating, good eating. And we also have the vegan option. So we have everything for everybody. We want to have a trunk or treat for the babies and have a good time. So come on out. And of
Definitely.
course, you, my bro, gonna be on the mic.
Oh, I'll
Gonna
definitely
be
be
on
there.
the
Yes,
mic. We're gonna have
absolutely.
open mic. We're gonna have
Yep.
some live entertainment. And so we're gonna have a good time. And it's about
466
time.
Maryland Avenue.
Yes, indeed. Yes,
466
indeed.
Maryland
It
Avenue, October
opens at
28th.
12 o'clock. Yep. 12 o'clock for the community. So come on out and just be blessed to have a good time. And come and
Absolutely.
see your boy. Yes, John
Absolutely.
on the mic.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Listen, guys, you definitely want to have a good time. I've been around them twice, and every time I've had a wonderful time. I really have. I enjoy y'all company. Everyone is wonderful. And it's nothing but love. Like I say, I can't stress it
It's
enough. It's
love.
nothing but love. It is.
It's
It's real.
love.
It's organic. Ain't nothing fake or
That's
nothing
right.
about it.
Nothing fake
It's
about it.
organic, and I
Mm-mm.
love it. I love it. So
We
shout
love
out to
you.
everybody for free. Sis,
Hey.
thank you for coming on this
Thank you for
tonight.
having me.
I will see you Saturday. And guys, if you can get out, you definitely want to swing through 466 Maryland Avenue in Essex at
Yes.
12 o'clock. Come
Yes.
through and get some good food. And if you can play some cards, you may want to sit down. Maybe you can win a few hands or something too.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
If you
Of
want to
course.
be blessed, people, you must bless somebody else. Sis, I
Yeah.
thank you so much for being on here.
Thank
You
you.
stay
Thank
safe and stay vigilant. I will see you this
you.
weekend. All right.
Yes. And give the wifey hugs and kisses for me.
I definitely will. You stay safe out here.
Thank you. Bye.
All right. I'll see you next time.
You too.
Okay.
Just wanted to let you know that the host of this show appreciates the time that you've spent with them. Now, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe to our channel so you can keep up with everything that we're doing. And most of all, thank you for tuning in to What Up Baltimore online radio, where the people have the power.